Hi, I'm Mike Miller. Hope you're having a great day. Thanks so much for watching. My guests today are involved with an organization that benefits music, art, family, and associates nature with it, and I'm honored to have Michelle
Hi, thank you so
and
much
Jesse.
for having us.
Thank you for being here with 7Feathers.
Yeah, absolutely.
When did you guys actually form 7Feathers here in Denton?
Well, officially, as far as what's on paper, we were born in April of this year. We've been meeting kind of preliminarily for about a year.
Yeah.
So since like last November, before that, building up to that. But Jesse and I have been kind of mulling this over for a few years, trying to figure out what it was going to be before we knew it was going to be 7Feathers. So it's kind of a long growth, but
It's evolved.
It seems like you really stay busy. You've been involved with a lot of events over the last few months.
yeah, I think we tallied around 50 events that
Really?
we've done so far or been involved in
Almost
somehow.
one a week in a year, yeah.
Yeah, basically. Sometimes it'll be, we'll have a couple weekends off and then we'll have 3 events in one weekend and our kids are just worn out, but
So you do have a family now and are running this with a family, and
yeah, that's a huge part of this. Is what drove us wanting to have it and where it came from was having a space for family and community to grow and thrive and be around music and art and have all these creative opportunities and to be able to enjoy it with your families. And so our kids are with us probably 60 to 70% of the events that we do. Grandma is awesome, and she'll drive down and pick them up, and we all take turns because we all have families, all the organizers, we all have kids.
how many of there are there?
Well, there's the 2 of us and another couple that kind of started it, and then we had another 3 that have, so it was 7, it was 7 from the beginning, which was not what 7Feathers is about. It just kind of turned out to be 7 of us. But now we've got, a pretty sturdy base of volunteers. So it's kind of hard to tell who's
yeah.
organizers and who's volunteers
Yeah.
because it's really a collaborative organization. And so you get as much stake in it as you want to put into it. And so there's more than 7, I guess, but really 7,
There's
I don't
7
know.
core that kinda
There's
started
like
it
the
all.
core that started with 7, yeah.
And you began working with Karma Yoga.
Yeah, so we met Karma Yoga. When we rolled out, the way we birthed ourselves into Denton was, for lack of a better term, because we kind of showed up out of nowhere. We decided we were going to start our organization by funding ourselves with the merchandising element. And so we got some local craftspeople together and we started doing the community markets. And so the first community market in April of this year was the first time that we came out and did anything. And we met Karma Yoga by the second. We met them at the first market, and we were telling everyone who we were and what we were doing and what our goals were. We had brochures we were passing out, trying to explain how this kind of came from nowhere, and they loved it. And they're also a collaborative, volunteer-based organization, and so they're one of our very first partnerships, and we've done a lot with them, and we love Karma Yoga. So
The glow yoga, I thought that was a cool
that
concept.
was fun. Yeah, that was a lot of fun. We misjudged the amount of space and the amount of black lights we needed, so it didn't we couldn't get any pictures of it really or video of it to share with everyone because that was really cool. You showed up and drummed with us for that one.
There were a lot of people in there doing the yoga as well.
Yeah, and right before they did it, they had an acro yoga workshop, and so because we showed up early to drum and kind of get set up and everything, and so we got the tail end of that, and they were doing some really crazy yoga. I would be scared to do it.
Extreme yoga.
Yeah,
Yeah.
super
Acrobatic
extreme yoga.
yoga.
Yeah, they're lifting each other, and it was crazy.
It's amazing what some people can do.
It was a lot of fun because our kids just kind of ran out and got on mats, and the organizers Jess and Tiffany they absorb, part of absorbing 7Feathers is understanding that it's family and there's kids, and it's always, and so they are aunts now. And so they were trying to help all of our girls do it because they're 6 and 7 years old, and they were holding each other up and doing, and it was It was fun to sit there, drum, and watch your kids like do acro yoga, which that they learned how to do 2 minutes before. So
Yeah.
it was really neat.
And there's been a couple of events at the Bearded Monk.
Yeah, monthly we do a yoga jam at the Bearded Monk where
No,
we.
that's at Audacity.
Or I'm sorry, that's not Audacity.
Audacity, okay.
apologize.
The Bearded
The
Monk was
Bearded
in,
Monks, yes,
yeah.
we've done different events there.
They were another kind of early on partnership with that we got to do some few events there. We had a big event there with Our Daily Bread in May or June. It's all kind
An
of blends
artist
together.
enclave.
And we did with the Artist Enclave. And then just recently we had the Star Party planned, and we were partnered with Explorium Denton, actually out at UNT's
Oh, yeah.
observatory.
Yeah.
And so it was their event. We were a musical sponsor, and so we had put together this really what we thought was an amazing lineup for laying under the stars and listening. We had, Meredith Wilson and Matt Grigsby and Berea, and at the last minute, literally 2 hours before we were supposed to get there, the university pulled the plug on it because it was too cloudy, and they
yeah.
couldn't open the telescopes. And so everyone was kind of like, man. And then
That was quick thinking, though.
we talked to the bands, and we're like, but we all still want to play. And so the Bearded Monk had an event earlier that day that was ending at 6, so we knew they didn't have anything planned. And Brian Loving's a guy at Nice Dudes. Screen printing was out there, and so he's involved in our organization. So we have all these like intermingled networks and with all these other little businesses, and so they called us and they helped us get it all arranged, and so we were able to just kind of show up and put it on anyway, and the music was awesome. The only thing could have made it better would have been the stars. But
Bearded Monk is a nice place.
it
That's
is a really nice
environment.
place, yeah. And those guys are so nice. Ben is such a nice, both Bens, like,
They're very
and the staff is
accommodating.
nice, the bartenders are nice, and they totally don't mind that we bring our kids, and it's funny, we'll be at like the food truck place, and we can't take our kids to the bathroom anywhere, and we just like go over to the Bearded Monk, and they're like, hey, and our little girls are like, what's up, Ben? And it's just part of the family, part of the community, and that's what 7Feathers is.
Oh, kids can't go to the bathroom in a nightclub?
No.
I mean,
Not usually, but if we have our Tuesday night meetings are from like 6:30 to 8, and so we kind of have to move them around a little bit and kind of accommodate everybody, and we end up in random places sometimes that we don't really want our kids running around in, because it's just, I mean, they could be
yeah.
there, but it's not worth trying to keep them contained.
Yeah.
So we tried, but and that's a huge part of why 7Feathers exists, is so we can create a community space where anybody can be there, with no matter who you are, how old you are, if you have kids or don't have kids or whatever, you can
That's great.
be there, and it's a community space. And so we're moving.
So what were you saying about Audacity, though?
Oh,
yeah, on the
second Sunday.
Second Sunday of every month, we do a yoga jam with Karma Yoga at
Oh, okay.
Audacity.
And so it's hand drumming to the yoga flow, and so
Out back there?
and they're
Yeah.
back. Well, now that it's cooling off, we're moving it it's right across the street at the batting cages.
Oh, where the glow yoga was?
Well, next door to that,
Next
and so
door to
not
that,
the
yeah.
same place, but so that way we can still be right back. As soon as it's over, we can all still go into Audacity and have our post yoga, post drumming drink. But we can be inside where it's a little bit warmer, and there's the space for us. And that's a lot of fun. We started that as kind of like an experiment with them, and we were like, let's give it a shot and see if this works. And it worked really well. And now we drum with yoga a lot, and everyone really seems to enjoy it.
Now, what were you talking about a while ago with Our Daily Bread?
So with Our Daily Bread. So when we very first founded 7Feathers, we were a for-profit service organization until we met with the city and some other things evolved, and now we're a full-on nonprofit service organization. But it's hard for us to build a whole nother service organization or arm of it to serve the homeless community and do all these projects that our hearts really want to go to, because we're throwing events and doing all this other stuff. And so we decided, instead of trying to just make our own piece, we know there's Our Daily Bread and
Yeah.
Giving Hope, and there's quite a few other organizations that our feet on the street every single day.
Partner with them.
And so we would just partner with them, and sometimes we partner with them to the extent where they help us and we all plan the event together, like the Fab Friday event with Artist Enclave. And then other times we just promote it ourselves and then give them a call and say, hey, we raised 100 coats for you guys for winter. Do y'all want them?
So people could bring coats and things like that?
Yeah, every event we ever have, we tie it to some type of service opportunity. And so, like when we did the Hot Damn Jam Fest, it was $5 to get in and then you had opportunities to donate like toiletries and things like that.
Oh,
and
really?
we did.
Yeah.
At the Nightmare on Elm Street that we just had, if you brought, it was a free event, but we had like raffles and carnival games. So if you brought coats, then you got free raffle tickets to play. And so we always just try to find some creative way. One time we did something with Midway Craft House where they just had a bunch of toiletries that were aging on their shelf. And so we talked to them, and they moved them all up to the front, and so anyone could just add them to purchase as they were coming in and out of the store that night, and then we donated all of that. And so we've done bug spray and sunscreen. We just, whatever they need, we just kind of find different ways to raise it and let that be a part of the music and the art and the community without us having to be the ones to try to figure out now how do we get this out.
Oh, yeah. Let them collect and distribute it.
Yeah, and we just kind of help collect it for them.
Yeah, they have the networks all set up.
Exactly.
Those people come to them.
Mm-hmm. Exactly. And so instead of us trying to, build our own, homeless program because that was originally what we were wanting to do, was put together like all these like homeless stations and donation places. And then we just realized that we didn't have the resources to be that organization and to also be this music and arts oriented and events oriented organization. And there's a few 7Feathers volunteers that volunteer very heavily in those other organizations. And so we rely on that to say, hey, we've got an event coming up, so we'll give her a call and say, because she volunteers at like 3 or 4 different places, and we'll be like, so who needs what right now? And she kind of guides us, and then we get it, and she helps us to call everyone and say, all right, we got this much of this, and she kind of helps disseminate it even between the organizations, so the proper organizations are getting the right donations that they can actually use.
Yeah, that's right.
Because that's really a challenge, apparently.
Yeah.
I'm sure. Yeah, just a lot of physical work of organizing it and storing it and making it available to people in appropriate levels. Yeah. And the Hot Damn event, that turned out being pretty big, didn't it?
It was so much bigger than we expected to be. It was so much fun. Oh, it was amazing.
Who
we
were
heard
some
so
of the
many good
bands
things.
that played there?
Oh my goodness, we had how many bands at that? Like 19 bands at that one. Yeah, and so we had 2 stages back and forth. The Faps played, Feeney played, Sergio and the Compadres played. 432 Hertz Ensemble. We had a cipher, which was something that I had never heard of before, and that kind of collaboratively got organized by a few of our
Rose and Daniel Forrester
and some of our hip hop guys, and so that's
put that together.
Yeah, and that was really cool because that's like
Aaron
instead of it
Tisdale.
being a rap battle, it's like a collaborative like rap cipher.
Oh, really?
And so instead of it being like combative or aggressive or like who's winning, they like build on top of each other and like it comes this big collaborative 45-minute jam, and that was really cool.
Where they make up lyrics and
they still it's all like, I mean, you still have the hip hop element, you've got DJs playing and musicians playing live and building on top of it. It turned out to be really cool.
What band did Neely Rose have that night? He was in one of those bands.
Which one did he play with? Neely's got like 6 bands. Do you
I
remember?
fell off all that. I can't remember the name of
I don't remember which one it was.
Dr. Thomas Jefferson, maybe, or
Dr. Thomas Jefferson played with us at the first Star Party we did.
the headband. Is that the
The
name?
headband.
Headband,
That was
yes.
them.
Thank you.
How many people's in that band?
5, I think.
5.
Yeah. I think 432 Hertz Ensemble is our biggest band that plays with us, and they have
Really?
they have 12.
12.
When they all show up, and they played with us with like 8 before, but when they all show up, and at the Nightmare on Elm Street, that was awesome. They all showed up and they're spilling off of the stage. It was really cool, and they have all different kinds of instruments. It's beautiful.
Yeah. The event at Abbey Underground I went to, you had
Substrate Divine.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then James Duffer.
James Duffer
James
played that
Duffer,
one.
he's good,
He
yeah.
was good. And he does stuff all over the place.
Yeah.
Really,
He's
yeah.
actually, so like he has a like really like sweet and like acoustic keyboard set that he goes back and forth, but he's also in a metal band.
He's a drummer.
Yeah,
And
drummer
he's a drummer in a metal band.
band.
And we can't wait to find an event for them to play at. We just haven't like had that opportunity yet. But
What's the name of that band?
oh my goodness,
Space or something?
Space Ape.
Space Ape.
Space Ape.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's our details guy. I plan and I have divisions. He's gonna ask me names of bands and embarrass me.
I'm the world's worst, for sure. There's so
Yeah.
many bands in this town. They have such creative names.
Yeah, and that's the thing too. That's really funny about 7Feathers because another reason that we kind of came in this direction to do the music piece of it is that we had lived here for 2.5 years, almost 3 years, and we're avid music lovers, and we go to all kinds of concerts and festivals all over the country. And we were so disappointed because when we moved here from Austin, they're like, Music Town, you'll love it. And there's like 3 music venues, and we couldn't really find it. And so we were like, well, we need to create a space then. And then after we've done it, we've tapped into this huge network of musicians and underground music and the house venues and all this stuff that we had no idea about. So we've, our awareness of all the bands in Denton has significantly grown in the last few months.
And it seems that so many new venues have
Yeah.
been established.
And house venues are popping up every day. People reach out to us and say, like, hey, we're trying to open a house venue. Can you help us? We're like, absolutely, we can do that for you. And just let us know. If you need help, ask us. That's why we exist. And so whether they want someone to run sound, or they need someone to help them put together a stage, or they want, questions about how permitting works, or whatever it is, like, we want to help these people create however we can.
That's great. It really benefits the musicians as well as the fans.
Yeah, and so we try to help the bands too. Same things. If they want to play somewhere, we can try to help them find somewhere to play. We help with teaching them how to promote themselves and market themselves, so their audiences can grow and getting out in front of more people. And we just want to help music and art grow, and we want to do it from a place of family and community. And it's not about no one's trying to make money off of anybody. We're all collaborating. We're all partnership. It's all barter based. Like, we're just doing this to help it grow, and that's really makes me so happy. I love it. I love music.
Do you guys have other jobs too, though?
Yes. I run my own business. I'm a marketing consultant.
Oh, really?
And so that actually comes into play quite a bit with 7Feathers.
Yeah.
I help with helping with the event planning and business development and growing their social presence. But I mostly do like data research and data analytics for organizations.
Oh, do you?
And then he works.
I do like land ownership research and
Yeah.
GIS mapping, things like that.
Really?
Yeah, we're nerds.
Yeah.
That's interesting. How long have you done that?
2.5 years now.
Yeah. You do that here in Denton?
I work from home, but the broker that I work for is based out of Fort Worth.
They
Oh,
made him
but-
stop. He had to drive there for the first 1.5 years, and finally they're like, you don't have to drive here anymore. And so he's got all his screens set up at home.
Oh, yeah. The internet has really opened up so many opportunities for a lot of people, I
Yeah.
guess.
Absolutely.
Yes.
Well, I mean, definitely for us, we have people, everything we've done so far has been focused in Denton, but we have people outside of Denton that are following us and
Really?
reaching out to us. And, we've got a music venue up in Kansas City that we're trying to help start to like get an outlet out of Denton for musicians to go play at. We've got contacts in Austin that have venues that are like, come throw shows down here, come put stuff on down here. And outside of in different places, so it's pretty cool when people message us. We had a service call, and someone from like, what's the place with the bridge? Iowa, not Des Moines. Where is it? What?
I don't know.
And she reached out and she was like, oh, because it was a coat drive for people that are going up to the the pipeline protests.
Yes.
And so we're collecting items along the way, and we were having to stop in Denton. And then someone was asking us, they're further up 35, asking if they're going to be going that way. I don't know, it was just crazy because we were like, who are you? And you're 5 states away. I mean, I don't even know where you live, and you know about us, and you're following our stuff, and our message is getting out. And so the internet's pretty cool.
Yeah, maybe they used to live in Denton or
Maybe.
something like that.
Yeah. So, but it's neat because that's what we just wanted to grow.
Was there anybody in Denton doing things similar to what you guys are doing prior to you doing this, do you think?
We don't really know.
Excuse me.
I went to the music town hall meeting
Oh, yeah.
that they had a few months ago, and I heard of a couple of other people and organizations that were like kind of starting to do it. So we reached out to a couple and we're like, hey, let's collaborate. There's no use in burning resources if we can help each other grow. Let's see what we can do. And so we've, a few things have come from that, and we're kind of trying to build more relationships and service into the community, but we don't know of anyone that's ever done anything from this perspective before, where we're not trying to, yes, we want to open a venue, but let's open a venue so we can become rich.
It's a community space.
It's like, let's open a community space that barely pays for it. I mean, that 1919 hemp bill is an example of someone that's kind of similar.
The idea, what we want to be able to create, hopefully, is a community space that has a venue within it where we can have larger shows and be able to showcase different bands that are from here locally, and then also maybe bring in some regional
acts.
But we also want to be able to have playgrounds and interactive music spaces for children to play with, and we would really like to be able to have studio space both for artists and for musicians, like practice space and recording space and things like that.
Yeah.
And so the
DIY
idea is that
opportunities
if we can,
available.
that it could be an arts and music based community space, community center where families and independent artists and musicians can come together and collaborate.
You can eat and drink and hang out. Like, it's not like when we see 5 years down the road, 10 years down the road, because we understand that it's completely grassroots fed, and we're not out knocking on anyone's door asking for money, because that's not what you can't grow money, and so you can grow community. But when we see it and it's a thriving space and it exists and it's running at its full capacity, and we're doing our few music festivals a year, and we're all these dreams are coming to fruition. We see it with a restaurant and a bar, and we want it to be somewhere that anyone can come to, no matter who they are, what they feel like doing, and feel comfortable and be there around people that they probably wouldn't hang out with, but it won't matter because there's commonality.
Yeah, I've thought before too that would be a great idea, something like that, where people could actually have practice rooms and hang around, and shows available.
Yeah, there's this place in Marfa, Texas that we went to once, and it was set out really cool, and it was a restaurant that had a bar in it, but the layout had all these different pockets of space, and so you were all still in one venue, but you had very different kind of feelings and activities going on in each of the areas, and that was really inspiring to us to see that kind of where we were thinking of wanting to take it, like someone else has already cracked that door a little bit, so you can really see the possibilities of it. And so we get excited thinking about what it's going to be when we get there, when it happens.
As it grows.
We're a 7-month-old organization, so we can understand it's not going to be that immediately, but it will be someday.
I used to think Billy Bob's was kind of like that. They had the different cafes, and I can't recall.
Yeah, and they kind of have,
But that's good. It gives you relief. If you get tired of being out on the bar room, you can just go to a little shop or something.
Yeah, go hang out somewhere else, absolutely.
Yeah.
And move around and meet people, and that was something, we talked about how many people showed up at the Hot Damn Jam Fest. Around 11, the Denton police showed up because there were complaints, not about even the sound really, it was just people were parking on the wrong side of the street. And he showed up and he kind of laughed and said, I've been busting parties in this town for 11 years and never once have I shown up somewhere and seen this many different types of people in the same place.
Really?
Like, as far as age and different types, we had the punks and the hippies and the skaters, and everybody was hanging out, and kids weren't, and it was cool. We felt like that was a pretty solid compliment for the diversity of who's welcome, and
There were
everyone felt comfortable.
older people there too.
Yeah, we had.
Oh yeah, it was
I mean,
very diverse.
very diverse. I would say 60s, 70s, all the way down to the little ones running
Oh,
around.
really?
Most of the
Well,
kids
that's
had left
great.
by 11, but earlier in that
They
day.
were all gone.
And the Nightmare on Elm Street, you had a haunted house there?
So we had a haunted house stage, and
Oh, haunted house stage.
we were originally in the early plans. One of the sponsors was going to help with a haunted house, and then they just I think, got excited and decided maybe it was a little ambitious. And so we did one of where Juice Lab is about to expand their restaurant or juice bar. We had that space available to us. So we went in and we spent one of our Tuesday night meetings with the whole tribe showed up, and we decorated it and put in strobe lights and lasers, and that's where all the hip hop and DJs
okay.
played throughout the
Yeah.
day. And so it had like its very own feel. And we feel like, I mean, between the 7 original organizers, we've got close to 100 music festivals under our belts from all over the country and all different things. And so every single event we plan, even when it's like a little backyard party, we exhaustively think through every single detail, and we try to do everything as like that festival feel, that community, because we feel like that's what inspires the excitement in the community. And so
And it's mainly through Facebook that you get the word out, Facebook and Twitter, I guess.
yeah, we don't tweet.
Don't tweet.
Facebook and Instagram.
Facebook, Instagram, and then word of mouth. And we have our meetings, and some of our volunteers, the way they contribute to us is they just go to concerts and they go to shows and they meet people, and they're like, hey,
They have a lot of friends,
and they
yeah.
have a lot of friends, and they talk to musicians, and they're like, hey, check out 7Feathers. And so we have a recruitment page on our website. So if you hear about us, you can go to our page and 7feathersdenton.com/join, and it's a quick little form, and we've had artists and volunteers and bands and everyone like, hey, this is who we are, we exist. And so whenever we're booking shows for festivals, we'll go to that list and say, okay, who can we call that's available? And so we get, sometimes it seems like it's completely random, and then we find out, well, they met so-and-so at this show, who's this person's friend, and
Yeah,
the
mhm.
network just kind of grows, and then we meet a new person, and that just cracks open a whole new network and a whole new genre of music or house bands or whatever it might be. And so every single person we meet is a treasure, and it just helps us grow.
Do you think you might work with the Thin Line Film Fest?
Oh, we would love to. We
Really?
want to get involved in the festivals because, we do focus a lot on music. That's just been the lowest hanging fruit for us, really. But we want to grow into all the arts, and I, have dreams of theater, art performances, and film and photography and live art installations and all of it. The Artist Enclave that we've partnered with is kind of where we hope to, cultivate that relationship and get more involved, because they do quite a bit and are involved in Thin Line. So we'll see.
It happens.
Yeah.
So what would your goals be for the next year, do you think, mainly?
For the next year, we really want to find a space where we can start to build something. We're actually about to take out a classified ad in the newspaper, as an open call for property owners or business owners if they've got a spare acre or parking lot that's too big for them, or some just extra space. Let's get creative and see what we can do together and collaborate in partnership. So.
Well, that's good. I wish you luck with that.
Thank you.
I appreciate you guys coming down
thank
today.
you so much. I really appreciate
Thank
the
you
opportunity.
for sharing all this information. I think it's a really great thing for the community that you're doing.
Thank you.
It's exciting. It's an honor. We appreciate the opportunity to come and talk about it and tell hopefully some more people to hear about us.
Well, thank you so much for listening, and hope you come to some of the events in the future, and have a great day.